Saints head coach Kellen Moore recaps loss to Buffalo. This is the post-game coverage. All right, so Kellen Moore is in front of the media again after a loss. I'll tell you this right now. I like what Kellen did this game. If you sit back, kick your feet up, keep your socks on, and think about what Kellen had to do leading up to this game, right? You go to Seattle, you get absolutely embarrassed in front of God and everybody. Then you have to get back home, galvanize a locker room, make sure that, hey, we're not having fractures, we're not having whatever, the players are bought in, whatever. Then you got to fix the issues, okay, which in Seattle was the penalties and pre-snap stuff, the operations, we all understand that, the special teams. Then you got to go to Buffalo, upstate New York, game plan for Josh Allen and arguably the best team in the NFL. And I think he did a good job. I think he cleaned up the penalties. Special teams was better. I thought the operations was better. And I thought the game plan was damn good. The game plan was, hey, Buffalo is not great at stopping the run. Thus, let's run the football. Let's try and run the football and keep Josh Allen on the sidelines. That's how we win. Now, a lot of things did not go the Saints' way. Fourth down, 2-point conversion, overturned call, Philly special, the whole, we've gone through it. But overall, I thought for what he had to do, I thought he did a good job.
Had some really good kicks in there, kept us in it. Ultimately didn't make enough plays to win this game. That's a really good football team. That team's going to play late into this season. We put ourselves in position. Felt like we were competing. We were playing the right way, and we just came up short. And, we didn't make enough plays when it mattered most. And, they made some plays. They got some really good players that made some plays. And, we missed our opportunities when we had them. And so,
true.
Our guys, we got to just keep on going. We got to keep going. We got to keep battling. We missed 4 ops, and, you're giving 13 more of these. And we just got to keep getting better and put ourselves in good position.
I do think it's interesting. I keep talking about Tennessee and Carolina and some of these really, 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 really bad teams, the Jets, whatever. What Kellen is talking about, there's first you have to give yourself the opportunity. First, you have to put yourself into an opportunity where you even get a play on the 3-yard line, where you even get a 2-point conversion, where you even get a 4th and 2, or where you even get a chance to win the game at the end, like in San Francisco and Arizona. You have to work to even get those chances. You look at Tennessee, they don't get 2-point conversions. They don't get 4th down opportunities. They don't get game on the line with a drive, 2-minute drive, see if you can do it. They don't even get that. Then, after you get the opportunity, you got to be successful with them. You got to make them happen. And that's where the Saints are. The Saints are in that area where they just can't, they're getting the opportunities, excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, but they're not converting these opportunities. And that really is the difference between a good team, a bad team, a good team, and a great team.
What was your perspective on the roughing the kicker penalties?
I haven't got the perfect look at it yet to evaluate it properly. Obviously, we were being aggressive there, trying to make a play, and we were just short. We just missed it, and
he 360 no-scoped him. The roughing the kicker on the punt, they're going for the block. They understand they got to make. They got to make something happen there. It's 4th and 7. They're trying to get a block to basically steal a possession and barely missed the ball, a little bit late on it, and, almost ripped the kicker's leg off. So
those are challenging situations.
I know you were talking with officials about it for a minute. Did you think it was potentially running into the kicker versus roughing? Was that the discussion?
No, I was just talking with them about, just everything that was going on in that play. All good.
I know that winnings don't mean it really matters, but you feel like you were closer today than you've been all season as far as just an all-around game that the team played.
I felt like we competed. We competed in all 3 phases for 4 quarters, and opportunities are going to present yourself. That's what this league's about. You're going to have opportunities, and you got to take advantage of them. And I think there certainly were ones that we took advantage of, just not enough. And so, we had our opportunities late in that game to put ourselves in positive situations, and we just weren't able to come up with it. And so, credit to those guys. They made the plays when they had to, and they took advantage of them.
Yeah, and there are a lot of those plays in this game where, Saints fought hard, Saints did this, Saints did that, sure. But then you can go through 5 to 10 plays that they missed. Even the Pete Werner interception that was dropped, all that stuff. When you stack them up, it's like, man, if a couple of those go our way, if the P1 interception happens, if the Brandon Cooks touchdown isn't overturned, like if those little things happen, it's a completely different world. The Saints are in a situation where they keep playing these super close games, these highly competitive games, and they're 0 for whatever on all of these like swing plays. They got to get some of them to go their way, and that is the difference in wins and losses in the NFL.
The idea behind why you wanted to run like the Philly special style play down there?
Yeah, just felt like I had the look, had kind of an ability to get out of it if it wasn't the right look. Felt good about it. We're close, and obviously that's a frustrating one for us to come up short on, just because it felt like the end of the half we were managing that thing pretty well to finish off some points and then get the ball in the second half.
Yeah, so I mean, I've talked about this at length, this Philly special thing. I really don't have a problem with the play call. I've seen some commenters say, well, Chris Olave's not a quarterback. He wouldn't know to throw the ball away. Brother, you think this is the first time they ran this play? Like, this is a play where in practice, when you're executing it, when you're preparing to do this, you have to tell whoever's throwing it, listen, if he's open, let her rip. If not, throw that thing into the stands or tuck it and run. You're on the 3-yard line. Now, in the middle of the field, this gets a little different, right? There's a little more space. In the red zone, in the end zone, it is one look like, hey, is he wide open? No, okay, tuck it and go. And you never know. You tuck it and go, you may be able to get a yard, 2 yards, and in that situation, I think it was on the 3, right? So you're right there. Worst case scenario, you're thinking, lay down, live to see another play. But to huck it up and lob it up, that's just executional failure there on that play. But I have no issue with a coach grabbing a satchel and calling a play like that in a huge spot. Kellen Moore, ton of pressure on him. He's 0-3 in this situation, or going into the situation. You're at Buffalo. You've had the entire state of Louisiana telling you that you're in over your head and you need to change your practice schedule. Bad week if you're Kellen Moore to get on Twitter, right? And he said, F it. I'm calling the Philly special. Yeah, I could do a fullback dive. Yeah, I could do whatever. Quarterback sneak, kick a field goal. I could play it safe. But whatever. We're 0-3. We're a 17-point dog. We're at Buffalo. Let's get a little cutesy. Let's get a little cute. Now, didn't work out in our favor, but it is what it is. Okay? You can't judge a play call by the results. It's not how it works. So, I have no issue with it. Execution, I have a lot of issue with. It was, like I said, it was bad. That's got to get cleaned up, no doubt. But sometimes you gotta risk it for the biscuit, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget, you can risk it for the biscuit for the next week until kickoff Sunday, until the Giants game, noon sharp. This sale is going away. Everything on my store is 10% off. 10% off. Please, Saints, win. Please, God. The automatic coupon code you will see when you add whatever to the cart. If you've been looking at the merch, we got a ton of merch on there, including this hat and all the hats I wear, shirts I wear, all that stuff. This is the time to get it. 10% off the entire freaking store. I'm eating beans and ice water, crackers for dinner every night. But boom, so get your merch. Stand out in the crowd.
They have another option there. If the pass had been there, would you have another?
Yeah, there's another route coming from the other side.
How much of the emphasis on the run was like what you guys just wanted to do fundamentally, like identity, or just like matchup specific?
Every week's going to be different. Every week's going to present different challenges. Certainly, we know the importance of being able to run the football in this league, in both phases and both sides of the football. And so, I felt like there were some steps there. There was some progress. I thought Kendra and Alvin, both those guys just ran really, really hard. Spence used his legs a couple times. Shaheed, he had a couple perimeter runs. And so I felt like there was a lot of positives with that, with the execution in the run game.
And Kellen, we talked a lot about penalties all games this season, but how pleased were we today? I think it was 4 you finished with.
Yeah, there's 4. So obviously we made progress. The bummer is, you get 3 in special teams, and they all kind of impact the game, in drastic spots. And so I felt like the pre-snap was better, the post-snap was better. We had a couple critical ones in there that were unfortunate.
Josh Allen made some plays in the fourth quarter. Obviously, he's the MVP. What can you say about the job that he does, and especially in those kind of critical situations? How special is he?
Yeah, Josh is the MVP
He's
of
a
this league
bad
for a
man.
reason. He's a really special player. His composure is like no other in this league. His ability to execute.
I saw comments that were like, "What are the Saints doing? They're letting Josh Allen run all over them." Hey, brother, what? It's the MVP of the league. He's probably the best player. I mean, hey, Josh Allen is a legit cheat code. I mean, it is crazy how good he is, especially like Kellen said in those big spots of like 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6. His composure, his willingness to run, and his ability to run. I mean, he's just a special player. And when it was 3rd and 5 and he took off, and Pete Werner got lost in the sauce, got thrown into a blender. Pete's not the first one, not the last one that Josh Allen's going to make look dumb, but yeah, he's a special player for sure.
Execute in crunch time and in critical situations. He's done an excellent job for a number of years now, and so he was able to make plays. And you give him just that little bit of a rushing lane, and he's going to take it, and he's going to buy time, and he's going to make passes, and he's going to use his legs when he has to late in the game.
How do you view the you've been close 3 times now to these 4 losses, but like there's been like opportunities kind of right there that you guys have kind of missed out at. Do you feel good about having like the opportunities being there, or do you want you guys to execute? Like, how do you?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, we're in it. We're in it. It's very frustrating, I think, for all of our guys to feel like you're that close, and just you got to feel the taste of it. Feel the taste of executing in those critical situations to succeed and to find a way to win one of these. And so, while there are positives within this, the ultimate goal has yet to be achieved in the game, and so we're striving for that, and we need to get there.
I agree, and I think it is so important for this team, or any team really, to feel like successfully handling these situations. It's one thing to be in them, and that is good, fine. But you have to see and feel and understand like the success side of it. And you can do all what we're talking about and get in these situations and continually fail them or whatever. But once you kind of break through and you feel like, oh, okay, this is a win, or this is how you finish off a drive, or this is how you get a turnover or whatever. This is what it feels like. Okay, I see now. I see the other side of it. Once that happens, I think it could be a big time turning point for this team where they break through, the weight's off their shoulders, they see the fruits of their labor, if you will, all that stuff. And it's going to happen. I mean, it could happen this week against the Giants for sure. And it's going to happen, and I have not really wavered on how I feel about the team, the direction, Kellen, all that stuff. I know, the Saints subreddit has spent a lot of time reading the past week, but I feel really good about where this team is right now and their fight and their gumption and their ability to bounce back after the Seattle thing. And especially when you watch other teams and I watch every game every week, but watching like the Jets and their operations, and they're just lost. And, I was listening to Francesa after the game, the GOAT, and, Francesa was saying, like, this is just a same old Jets. Like, it's the same old, they have no idea what they're doing. Aaron Glenn is lost. Like, the operation is bad. He was just kind of going on. And then I don't feel like that with the Saints. I don't feel the operation's bad. I don't feel Kellen Moore's lost. I don't feel they're clueless in what they're doing. I feel like the game plan's been fine every week. I feel like it's all there. The wins aren't there yet, but the wins will happen. And it is what it is. If this team is a 5-win team, a 4-win team, a 6-win team, you're going to have, somewhere between 13, 12, 11 losses. It's just how it's kind of how that cookie crumbles, right? So, but within the losses and within the performance, I feel like Kellen and the Saints are building something. Are they limited roster-wise? Yeah, it's a rebuild, 100%. No doubt about it. Do they have the playmakers they need to be super successful? No, they do not. No, absolutely not. Not yet. But you patch some of those holes, you get the next group of great players in here, I think there's a foundation being built. They're tearing things down. I mean, this old house got torn down to the studs, and they're rebuilding things.
What did you like in this game going into this game about the under the center game plan? It seemed like a lot of under center reps for what we've seen so far.
Yeah, we felt like just going into this game plan, felt like it presented itself, good opportunity, combination of opponent and ourselves, being able to use your cadence a little bit more on the road.
Yeah, the under center thing, that's a direct fix for the pre-snap or direct issue to fix that, where again, very smart from Kellen. They're saying, look, we're having a pre-snap problems. Get under center. We're going to go under center now. We're going to try and change some things around, help out the protection, help out the cadence, help out the communication, and lo and behold, look what happened.
I think there was some value to that.
You kind of touched on it, but like, how important was it just to see this type of response from your team, given what happened last week?
Yeah, I certainly think you got to give our players credit for how they responded. Last week got away from us. Our guys, they had the opening drive. They went right down the field and scored. Had a lot of momentum. That's a tough place to play up here, and so our guys settled in. They competed for 4 quarters. They battled. Our group sticks together. I appreciate that. We're right there, and obviously we know there's steps that need to be made to get better and put ourselves in better position. We got to finish one of these, but we just got to keep growing. That's our only choice.
Yeah.
Did you plan to get Quincy into the game, or was that for you guys to how things went in the first 2?
No, kind of similar to last week. Yeah, opportunities for him as well still.
How would you describe the mood in the locker room? Was it sort of like what you said, like a little frustrated, but you kind of know you're close?
Everyone's competing in the highest level of football, and there's frustration when you come up short. And so for us to come up short 4 straight times, there's a lot of frustration associated with that. But I think the messaging by our players, by our staff, the consistency by everyone's approach gives me hope and optimism that we're going to keep getting better, and we're going to find a way to get into the positive side of these games. And so we're just going to keep on going. I love these guys, and we're just going to keep competing. We'll be back at home this week and, be ready to roll.
How are you dealing with? How are you dealing with? You are on 4. Like, you're going through this for the first time as a head coach. Just where are you kind of at? Like,
yeah, I think we're all in the same boat. We're all in the same boat. We go through this journey together. That's what coaches and organizations and players and everyone does the same. And so we're all in this thing together. We all have our frustrations. We all want this really, really bad. We're battling. We're putting a lot of time and effort into this thing, and we got to find a way to get on the right side of this thing.
What do you think of some of those plays you involved today?
Yeah, I thought it was awesome. Jonas is a player that we think very highly of. I thought he played in some really contested situations, battled, playing against some of the premier players. Their tight end group is as good as anyone in this league. Those guys are.
Yeah, Jonas was really good, especially in coverage. I mean, he's got Dalton Kincaid, no problem. And Kincaid's about as, one of the better receiving tight ends, route running tight ends. That's a tough matchup. And he's been really good, and no doubt about it. Like, he's a guy who needs to be on the field. Quincy Riley, I think, is a guy who needs to be on the field. We're getting to the point now where we're starting to see some of these young players take that step of okay, not only are they just a young player, whatever, they are one of the best players. They deserve to be on the field. And Jonas Sanker absolutely deserves to be on the field. He is playing at a super high level. So you gotta love to see that. And we need more. We need more of the young players to kind of break through. Is Danny Stutzman one of the next ones where Pete Werner, he's really struggled this year? Is Danny Stutzman the next guy who we're going to see kind of take that step? I don't know, maybe, right? But that is part of this. Part of this is, when do these young players get involved? And that's not just this draft class. That's also players like Kendra Miller, where Kendra Miller, he's been kind of up and down and a polarizing player, but I mean, this game, he was arguably, maybe not even arguably, he was our best player on offense. He was the guy who was making things happen. And, good, cool. If we have that and we have an Alvin Kamara, Kendra Miller, two-headed monster in the backfield, okay. Hell yeah. Torricelli Simpkins, he's playing right guard because Cesar Ruiz gets hurt. Maybe he's a guy who will kind of get into that role and be our right guard and be a guy on that offensive line. Then all of a sudden, you're answering questions that you have. So that's part of this too. And I think Sanker, I just can't imagine a world where he's not penciled in to start every week.
Special players, and so for him to compete the way he did, there's a lot of excitement around him.
Yeah. Can you get into just how beneficial it was for y'all today to have Spencer and the ability of using his legs to create plays? And it seemed like a number of big plays came from that.
Yeah, I thought his legs.
Yeah, the best thing Spencer did was scramble for sure. I saw something where it was a +6 EPA when he scrambled, which is pretty nuts. He picked up a lot of first downs. He can do that, and that's a big part of his game. And Spencer is so close. It's so close. If he just hits on some of these big-time throws, and it seems like it's the wide open ones. It seems like it's the wide open throws in the end zones or whatever that he's kind of missing. But if he could just get that figured out or even just dialed in a little bit, then he's playing really well, and he's certainly playing good enough for the Saints to have won some of these games. He's not hurting the team. He's not. It's just one of those situations where everything around it just isn't happening to get the wins. But I think Spencer's been good. I think it's been admirable how he's played. People are really quick to say, like, well, is he the long-term guy? It's like, we don't know. We have no clue. A lot of teams are in that boat. A lot of teams are in the boat of, okay, I kind of like this player, but is he a long-term thing? I don't know. You got to take it one game at a time, one quarter at a time, one play at a time. And Spencer's had good moments, had bad moments, but consistently his best moments are when he is scrambling around.
Came alive. I thought he did some really good stuff with that by design and also in the scramble phase. And I think that's a critical aspect of this thing. That's a really good defense. They play just with incredible effort, and they give you a lot of different looks, and they're going to challenge you schematically. And so for him, when the opportunity presented itself to recognize the rushing lanes, I thought was really good. It put us in some really positive situations, and so something he can continue to utilize.
I'll tell you this, McDermott or Buffalo's run defense we know is not great and all that stuff. But as far as 4 defensive coordinators to face in your first 4 games, to go McDonald, Gannon, and I know Gannon doesn't call defensive plays, but it is his defense. He's a defensive coach. But to go McDonald, Gannon, Bobby Salah, and then Sean McDermott, that is crazy. That is a crazy 4 defensive minds to be seeing in the first 4 games.
I don't. Potentially, we'll see how this thing goes.
He asked about Caesar. Caesar had a high ankle sprain, could potentially go on the IR, so he's going to miss a few weeks.
I'll get a little bit of clarity, give you a better answer probably tomorrow once we go through the medical exams.
Was Bailey kind of a similar thing to Penning last week, up but not kind of an emergency?
He had some opportunities, obviously, as the week kind of went, and so just the way the game played, we ended up playing in some tempo. And when you play in the tempo situations, when you're behind a little bit, the guys are going to tend to stay on the field, and we're not going to get as many personnel packages, so he'll be fine.
What about this matchup opened the door for Christian Boyd to get? It seemed like a pretty healthy amount of time.
Yeah, it was good to see him out there. Obviously, he had a phenomenal preseason. I thought he was really productive. Coming off the injury, had to navigate some of that, and so there was patience with that from his standpoint. I thought he went out there and battled, and I'm excited to see the film and see how it all went down.
How much of having your starting offensive line, at least in the first half of the game, kind of unlocked that running game thing, where just the 5 you wanted to go into the season?
That's a good question. Obviously, that was the 5 guys we anticipated. We know this league there's lots of twists and turns, and we've played a lot of different combinations up front, and we may have to in the future, and so we'll just continue to build that. I think those guys, the more they rep things together, I thought it was the most awesome thing was seeing Trevor out there playing guard. I thought his physicality as the game went on, he just became more and more comfortable out there, and I thought there was a lot of positives on his side.
Yeah, another thing too, this is the first time that we had all 5 starters out there. And yes, Cesar Ruiz gets hurt, whatever, but that's something else where you're going into this, you're 4 games in, going into your 4th game, and you've yet to have your offensive line. For a young team, especially a team that wants to run the football, things like that, that matters. You know what I mean? That is absolutely something that matters and impacts the game. So having them out there, Trevor's another one where what's Trevor going to look like at guard? What is that going to be? Is that going to be a thing where all of a sudden he's a good right guard or good left guard, and he's out there mauling people in the run game, and he's a long-term answer at guard? We'll see. It's 1 game in, but that's something else you got to focus on, and I can't wait to see the PFF grades whenever they come out later today.
How did you think just Spencer did overall? You mentioned the run game, his legs, but just passing and overall.
Yeah, I thought Spence battled. He's right there. I thought his legs came alive. Obviously, from a pass game perspective, we had a couple opportunities we're close on. We just didn't get it done. So.
Only 1 passing attempt more than 20 yards, at least on first view with all this.
Yeah.
What is it that's kind of limiting the downfield attack in the offense?
Yeah, we just got to find different opportunities for it. And so, obviously, we ran the football a lot on 1st and 2nd down. There's a lot of positives there, and we just got to find a way to get downfield a little bit more. I thought a couple of the designer action shots, the deeper shots, Spence ended up using his legs. And so those were positives in there.
Yeah, so, I've seen a lot of people say, well, last year we took a lot of deep shots to Rashid Shaheed, and this year we're not. You guys, you got to remember, not only is it a different offense, right? Clint Kubiak's offense is completely different than Kellen Moore's. Completely different. From the running game to what he wants to do, Clint Kubiak is much more of that zone run, play action, deep balls. Like that's what he's going to kind of do. Kellen Moore isn't that. Kellen Moore is, we've seen a lot of crossing routes. We've seen a lot of, run the football, intermediate to short passing routes, which we knew were going to happen. Now, does he need to find time to take shots down the field? Yeah, sure. But it is apples to oranges when you're comparing a different system, a different play caller, a different quarterback. The whole thing is different. They're being asked to do different things. Now, I have seen some all-22 where they are calling deep shot, like they are dialing it up. And whether it's because of the play or whether it's a decision or whatever, but Spencer's either going to a different route or going to a different player or taking off or whatever. So there's a lot happening within a play that can affect if you're taking the deep shots or not. It's not as simple as, well, Kellen's not calling them. He could be calling them, but because of either the defensive look or the situation or whatever that Spencer decides, you could be seeing a different result on the field, right? So there's a lot of nuance to that. Whether it's Spencer or whoever, the Saints do need to find some verticality and push the ball downfield, for sure. But there's a lot. It's a lot more than just call play action go routes, right? So, all right, there you go, Kellen Moore, the old ball coach. Love him like a brother. Get on down in the comments below. Let me know what you think. Buy a hat, buy a shirt, buy a mug, and I'll see you in the next video.